Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into this viral, modern fable called The Boy Who Outsmarted AI.
So, does what we have today actually dictate our tomorrow? It's so easy to just look around at our current resources, our bank accounts, the tools sitting right in front of us, and feel like the die is already cast, like this is it. But the short story we're exploring today completely shatters that assumption. It's an incredibly fascinating look at overcoming some seriously humble, even humiliating beginnings, and it really shows the absolute power of perseverance and the democratization of technology.
Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. The Broke Genius.
Our story centers on a guy named Ethan, who was just 17 years old. He was the target of relentless, everyday mockery from his classmates, who actually gave him this cruel nickname, the Broke Genius. It was totally meant to belittle him, basically implying that whatever natural smarts he had were completely canceled out by the fact that he was poor. I mean, think back to when you were 17. Social standing and fitting in, that feels like life or death. To be openly ostracized and laughed at for lacking money at that age, that's a profoundly isolating experience. It's the kind of intense pressure that causes most people to just retreat or become really bitter.
Think about the stark contrast in his daily life. Ethan's reality was an old, totally cracked computer that froze all the time. If you've ever tried to do real work on failing hardware, you know the absolute frustration of it, right? Every click is a gamble, every save file is like a minor miracle. Meanwhile, his classmates are coasting by on expensive, high-end laptops. This isn't just about who has the shinier toy, it's a glaring physical representation of a massive socioeconomic divide. His peers had tools that practically removed all friction from their lives, while Ethan's main tool was just a constant source of stress and a literal magnet for ridicule.
Part 2. The Late Night Hustle.
So one night, right in the middle of all that frustration, Ethan stumbles upon a free artificial intelligence tool online. And instead of just wasting time scrolling through social media, he made a super deliberate, incredibly mature choice. Look, when we're stressed, tired, or feeling defeated, the easiest thing in the world to do is mindlessly consume. That infinite scroll on a social feed, it is a perfectly designed escape hatch from our daily problems. But Ethan, he chose to stop passively scrolling and start actively building. He chose creation over consumption.
He spent every single evening, while everyone else was fast asleep, teaching himself how to design logos, edit videos, and build websites using AI. He wasn't just casually reading up on this stuff. He was applying it to highly marketable, in-demand digital skills. The sheer discipline required to do this all on your own, night after night, is just insane. He basically used a free tool to completely bypass the limits of his broken, freezing computer, turning himself into a one-man digital agency in the pitch black of his bedroom.
Part 3. The $1 Million Turnaround. Fast forward. Months passed.
Now, those passing months, that represents hundreds of hours of unseen, totally unglamorous, late-night grinding. But wow, the trajectory of this journey is just wild. Starting out at 17, mocked and poor, moving into that silent phase of spending every evening mastering AI. And then comes the visible shift. Months later, luxury cars are suddenly parked outside his house, absolutely stunning the classmates who used to make fun of him. And finally, he reaches this incredible pinnacle, earning his first $1 million before he even turns 18. It really shows the crazy amount of leverage technology gives you when you combine it with a relentless work ethic.
The real magic of today's digital economy is how democratic it is. By building an online AI business serving clients all over the world, these free AI tools let a teenager on a broken computer totally bypass his local geographical limitations. He didn't have to win over the popular kids at his high school or impress some local gatekeeper. Nope, he took his skills straight to a global market. And guess what? The global market only cares about the quality of your output, not the cracks on your screen.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer scale of the achievement. $1 million, all earned before his 18th birthday. That is an unbelievable validation of his late-night hustle. But as we dig into the source text, the money actually isn't the climax of this story. The real resolution happens right back where the whole conflict started.
Part 4. The Reunion Role Reversal.
Picture this. At a school reunion, the exact same students who used to point and laugh at the broke genius are now standing right in front of him asking for jobs. Talk about ultimate vindication, right? But here's the kicker. Rather than going for some petty revenge, Ethan made incredibly calculated choices based entirely on character. He hired the ones who had actually learned to respect others, and politely turned away the ones who still thought money made someone important. He totally understood that wealth doesn't equal character. Valuing humility and growth in his peers, that shows a crazy level of emotional intelligence for a teenage CEO.
Part 5. The ultimate moral lesson.
If you step into Ethan's sleek, modern executive office today, you're not going to find flashy art or the usual braggy symbols of newfound wealth. Not at all. Sitting proudly on display is that exact same old, cracked, freezing computer. And looking right at it, Ethan says this: "People laughed at my computer, but they never realized it was building my future." Wow, that completely reframes his entire struggle. The computer wasn't just a limitation, it was literally the crucible that forged his work ethic and drove him to innovate.
And that brings us to the core moral takeaway of the source material. Never judge someone by what they have today. Their hard work may completely surprise the world tomorrow. It's such a powerful reminder against superficial judgments. The tools, the clothes, the current bank balance, listen, these are just temporary snapshots in time. They almost never tell you anything real about a person's grit, their hunger, or the trajectory of where they are ultimately headed.
So I want to leave you with a final provocative thought to really chew on. Are you judging others by what they have today, or are you using your own time to surprise the world tomorrow? Are you just passively scrolling, or are you actively building? Ethan's story is absolute proof that the tools you need to completely change your life are probably already right there at your fingertips, regardless of what your current circumstances look like. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this deep dive into Ethan's journey sparked a little inspiration for your own future. Now get out there and start building.